Remember Jessica?
Yes, of course I do. Beautiful. You guys want to go see some animals?
Sure,
Yeah.
that'd be
You
awesome.
want to go in with the lemurs and the sloths?
Yes.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You have so many.
You have to.
And that's a tricolored rough lemur. Yes, it's a super long tail. No. So they're not prehensile tails. The reason why their tails are so long is they use them for balance. So when a lemur is jumping from one branch to another in the wild, they can jump 25 feet. And when their landing might not be the greatest, they can twist their tail and changes their outcome of their body so they can grab on and last second they'll be able to grab the ground. And we're going to go over a couple of quick rules and then I'll let them in with you guys. Now, the only thing I ask don't do is do not grab one of them. So the one thing lemurs do not like is being told what to do. So these guys are always the boss when we're in here. So if you go like this, even if you're going to pet them, they think of this as going to grab them and they'll yell at you. They will, some of them will like really yell at you and you'll realize like, oh, I won't do that anymore. Other than that, you can see they can't wait to meet you guys, but it's just weird. It's a thing lemurs do that they don't want to be grabbed. So I'll hand them off to you. If there's anything when you're scratching them, they love their chest scratched. They love their armpits. Like the favorite place on the planet is this. They'll put their arms like that for you, and you can scratch them anywhere on the back. You can use your nails. They love feeling that. You guys ready for them?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I'm gonna bring them out to you guys. Some of them may come out on their own. So like, can you go in there and say hi to us? All right. So I'm gonna hand them off to you like a baby, and you can scratch just like that. If they try licking your fingers, just whatever you do, don't allow them to, because they will try to get your fingers in their mouth. Now, oops, sorry. Venus. Is that Venus? That's Venus.
Ah, there's the noise. There's the noise.
So it's only when you put your hands up them. Okay. And then just start scratching her chest. Where is
Wow, look at it. Look at
So
it.
you are holding Mercury. That is Venus. If she wants to go, you can just. There's Mercury. Sorry, that one's Mars.
Okay, put it again.
Venus, you don't want to hang out?
There you go. Back. Look at that.
If they're doing anything that you guys don't want them to do, just let me know. So see how they put their arms back? They love this stuff. In Madagascar, it's an island that has lots of forests and it's surrounded, obviously, it's a beach. What these guys will do is they will go on the beach, on the sand, on their back, and they lay flat out. And if you can't really tell, but I guess when you're scratching, notice how all their center is black? They use that black fur to soak in as much sun as they can, and they just sunbathe. It is one of the coolest things you'll ever encounter if you go to Madagascar. Every lemur will keep their pointing, I guess their index finger on their toes, on their feet, and they'll use them to break open fruit and take the seeds out.
Wow, that looks so soft in his hand.
It's crazy, their hands, right?
So
You can put your fingers in between, they'll hold on to your fingers, just like that.
Oops.
Coming down.
People's legs, believe it or not, which is probably what Mark's going to do in a second.
You get one on your head, you got one luck in your eye.
Super friendly animals. Legitimately, these guys are just like the most lovable things ever. They live in groups of, typically the average is 30 to 40. It could be bigger or smaller, even as small as 4. But typically they want to live in big groups. We have actually 5 in total. One is home today. Yeah, they actually can't even like move. Once you start scratching them, it's like, oh, it's so crazy. Sometimes they'll be upside down.
Ah, that's pretty cool.
Got a bowl of food.
Right? Okay. Oh, look at this one.
I'm gonna. All right, so a couple quick rules before we begin. So what we're going to do in here today is introduce you to this awesome sloth. Her name is Sid. Everybody will have the opportunity to pet her. Here, come on, guys, let's start pet her. One at a time. So her name is Sid. She is a baby sloth, so she still has some room to grow. She's going to get a little bit bigger. At about 3 years old is the time they mature. So because she's a baby sloth, technically, she is very active right now, and she does have the ability to move around often, although she doesn't look like it right now. She looks kind of content. But usually, I'd say 15 hours a day, this is about what she does, and in about a year from now, that'll slow down to about 18 hours a day. This is what she'll do. It almost feels like human hair, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. No one expects it to be that soft when you feel it. See if she's hungry. So she's not actually sleeping right now.
She's hanging out.
She's hanging out. Come here. You want to have a piece of... So, in the wild, these guys typically eat leaves as their primary diet. But as a snack, I like to give her sweet potatoes. She's going to go right back to that spot.
Okay.
Now, in the wild, 95% of their food is the leaves on the trees that they live on. But the other 5% is actually really interesting. What happens is, if we were in Costa Rica, let's just say right now, and that's probably the most popular destination to go to find sloths, she wouldn't look anything like she does. What I mean by that is she would actually be green and brown instead of blonde and brown. So all this blonde colored hair you see here would actually be a greenish color because it would be algae and moss that grows on them. Now that algae and the moss is super important for their survival. They actually have bugs and insects live on that algae and their moss, and they eat the algae. And then instead of leaves, sometimes they'll lick the algae right off their fur, and they'll ingest some of those bugs and insects.
Okay.
They'll also use that algae to camouflage them. So
How do they survive in the desert? Because
so what they do is in the wild, they legitimately find a tree and they do this all day long. They don't move. They can't afford to move because they don't get enough good food to create energy. In captivity, they live 2 times the length of their normal lifespan. 15 to 20 years is in the wild, 30 to 40 in captivity. Their diet is pretty much just leaves and algae. That's all they survive on there. And because they can't afford to move much, because they don't get a good diet, they also can't afford to be spotted by predators. So they legitimately only move when they have to. So they live a very different life than they do in captivity. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed meeting this awesome sloth.
Thank you.
wow, thank you so
Pretty
much.
cool.
There's a girl, her name is Gracie, and she's about 7 months old. Aww. That is really right? Their tail is all muscle. It's unbelievable. So when everybody's done petting her, I'll actually set it down for the single. When are you gonna get to pet a kangaroo again? Very soft. Everybody get to see her pouch? So once the baby climbs all the way up to their mom's pouch, they actually have to go inside and climb all the way back down where she has 4 milking stations, also known as her teats. where the baby immediately has to hook onto so it can start drinking milk and start developing its eyes, its ears, and its nose. They could become a full-sized kangaroo just like its mom. Generally they stay in there 6 to 9 months and they do all of their developing in there. And they usually come out a little bit smaller than Gracie. Is she over there by the hand? Nope, she's over there by the tent. So yeah, so they do grow a decent amount inside their mom's pouch, and depending on the size of the mom and how long the baby decides to go stay in there, it can come out a little bigger. But the moms are awesome with their babies for the most part, and they're super affectionate with their family members.